They dress up the ugliness, their hate, their true intentions with lofty words. They tell you it is about resistance, occupation, liberation, land, colonizers, or some other lie. They change the history to suit their narratives, pretending that a changed history disguises and justifies their hate. If an Arab fled from Israel in 1948 when the newfound state of Israel was attacked by Arab armies and also by Arab forces inside of the new state, they would tell you it can only be because of Jews, not because of war, even though war creates millions upon millions of refugees. The Jews that were persecuted and driven from their homes all over the Middle East and North Africa, who with their descendants make up the majority population of Israel, are told they have no place in their one small Middle East country. The Jews from Yemen, Iraq, Egypt, Algeria, Libya, Lebanon, Iran, Syria, and other countries in the Middle East, North Africa, and Asia know that nothing awaits them in those countries if Israel should fall except for persecution, misery, and death. The political and religious leaders of Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran, Islamic Jihad, Qatar, Houthis, and more tell the world over and over in their speeches, in their sermons, in their actions, that they despise Jews and want them dead. They demonize Jews in order to justify their genocidal campaign. Hamas and those that share their beliefs want the women and children. Hamas uses as human shields to be killed and wounded so that the world will blame Jews, not Hamas, and hate Jews as they do. This is why Hamas built tunnels and shelters for themselves and nothing for the civilians above ground. This is why they embed their military in schools, hospitals, mosques, apartment buildings, and other civilian structures. They want civilian casualties and do everything they can to sacrifice civilians for their demented beliefs. Unfortunately, much of the world goes along and blames Israel, not Hamas, for the civilian casualties caused by Hamas. Their support for Hamas is no different than if someone demanded the Allies to cease fire and leave Hitler in power so that there would be no more German civilian casualties. Hamas and others and company and others say over and over that they are not interested in two states. They say over and over that they want Israel destroyed and the millions of Jews living on that land wiped out. They make it about religion. They believe they serve God by murdering Jews. On October 7th, they showed the whole world once again that they mean every word, every one of their words. On that day, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, and others from Gaza entered into Israel and murdered, wounded, kidnapped, raped, mutilated, and tortured thousands of defenseless people, from babies to old people. Hamas and Islamic Jihad use the civilians of Gaza as their human shields, knowing that the world blames Israel, not them, for civilian casualties. Civilians are killed by the millions in the wars in Yemen, Syria, Congo, Myanmar, and elsewhere, and no one cares. Anti-Semitism, hatred against Jews, drives the war against Israel. Anti-Semitism is why, if Israel cannot be blamed, no one cares about human life. The hatred of Jews is an ancient evil. It is not of God, even though many of the enemies of Israel make it about God. They make it clear that they do not want compromise, reconciliation, or anything other than genocide, unless the real driving force behind the war against Israel is recognized and completely rejected. Anti-Semitism, hatred against Jews, unless this is completely rejected, there will be no end to this nightmare.